organization to do business with. I'm sure they feel the same about us, but I'm just telling you, it's a hard organization. Now, the deal with BRCC that we cut was a piece of cake because Myrtle Dorsey, in my judgment, the Chancellor of BRCC, is first rate and tough as hell. When we sat down and started working on an agreement and said what we were going to do, her first question was, should we take it to our boards? And I said, why don't we hold a press conference? That way they got to embarrass themselves to stop us. And we did. We made it real elaborate. She set it all up, man. We had big signs there, big pens, all kinds of stuff. It's pretty simple stuff. But she was willing to step out and try something different. And apparently she has a board that encouraged her to do it. I'm not entirely sure it's the case inside. It's a tricky place, but I like it. It's a great campus, and I like Kofi, and I think they've got some good things going on if we can figure out a way to line them up. Go ahead.
We always hear that crisis is opportunity.
Yeah.
And our beloved governor keeps telling us that we've got to be more efficient in higher education. And as some of the old dogs are leaving us like Rouse Catholic, do you think there is potential finally to reunite the Ag Center with the main campus? The law school, it probably doesn't matter whether they're a separate campus or not, but having the Ag campus being a separate campus from LSU A&M has so much additional expense, so much weight, so many inefficiencies.
I'm going to be very careful about this one because this is a controversy that I think people thought, given my background, I was going to come in and try to do that. And I'm not going to say whether we should or shouldn't. I will say this: I had the pleasure of being vice president for the Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences at the University of Florida, which I believe is one of the 2 or 3 best programs in the country. And I'll give you one reason why I believe that. The University of Florida has 4 National Academy of Science scholars. 3 are in IFAS. 75% of National Academy of Science scholars are in the ag programs. And so I believe that is a great program. It was, in some respects, this is a great job. That was one of my favorite jobs, being the VP, senior VP of Florida in that area. I think it's the best model in the country. We don't have that model. Could we have it? I don't know. I'm not going to try to fight that war. I'm just telling you from my experience. I was dean at Minnesota for 6 years, and I was vice president of Florida for 6 years, and those are 2 of the top 10 year in, year out. And the Florida model was terrific because it included the vet school and it included the biological sciences, the applied biological sciences, and there was enough throw weight within the campus that they had to pay attention to. They couldn't marginalize IFAS. It was 1/3 of the budget. And likewise at the state level, they couldn't marginalize us because we had constituents and research centers and teaching programs in every part of the state, from Homestead to Pensacola to Milton. So it was a great organization in that regard. Politically, academically, I think it was an efficient organization. But if we want to have that conversation, I would probably have to resign this job and take it on from the outside, because I don't want to look like I'm trying to ingest any. We got plenty to chew on right now.
Our College of Agriculture is one of the weakest colleges at LSU, and that's largely because all those people have 51% of their appointment in the Ag Center. So the Ag Center runs those programs, and Ken Kuntz, if he's still dean, has one of the most horrible jobs on his campus because he doesn't control the destiny of his college.
I hear what you're saying. Go ahead. Oh, 5 more minutes, Brandon? Brandon said 5 more minutes. He's officially in charge. I only do what Brandon tells me.
I understand the need to raise tuition and maybe pay by the credit hour or by the program or whatever, but I am concerned it would price us out of the ability of some of our neighbors to ever come to LSU. What do you see happening in terms of need-based scholarships or adjustments?
Well, we have a program called the Pelican Promise. And the Pelican Promise tries to ensure that no student from Louisiana will ever be priced out of LSU. You know how it works? It works like this. If you're a Pell eligible student by federal standards, which means you come from a family whose income, I believe, is 1.5 times the poverty rate, right? That's approximate. And you qualify for all other aid, and that doesn't total the amount that it costs full to come to LSU, including room and board. We make up the difference. The problem we have this year is we've run a huge deficit in that account because of the economy. So I've been out raising money for it. I've been out getting donors to help bail us out for a while. And what's interesting is donors are willing to do it. They believe in it. So I believe we always have to have access. I believe we can increase tuition fees and retain access. I believe, you know, we're $2,600 a year below the mean of our peers. And our peers are institutions that at least appear to have been able to solve that problem. So we have to work at it, and we want to make sure that we use all the leverage we have can get. One of the things I want to do, we've announced, and we're going to end the Forever LSU campaign in its phase 1, December 31st, and we will have raised, or have pledges, or have insurance policies, or have wills that total $750 million. But our endowment's only about $328 million. And most of our peers, including Arkansas, has an endowment of over $1 billion, even in a bad economy. I believe we need to pause, and we need to build an endowment of $1 billion. And one of the things I'm going to propose to the legislature, probably won't go anywhere, but it's been done elsewhere. They put up a match every year, $40 million, one time each year, if we can match it. And it goes to the endowment. And then out of the endowment, you pay out a maximum of 4% every year and roll any additional income into the corpus. And if we could build an endowment of $1 billion, and right now, the average rate of return on the total portfolio is 4.3%. That's $43 million a year that we don't have. We can do a lot of scholarships. We can do a lot of access on $43 million. But we got to go after it now, building endowment. And that's going to be my next big push. One of the things I told Sean O'Keefe when I talked to him most recently is, among other things, I'm glad you're alive with one tough customer. And we talked a little bit about the plane crash. But you know, I also said to Sean that he launched a great idea when he called it Forever LSU, right? Doesn't mean it ends December 31st. It goes on forever. You can't beat that, right? So we're going to take a pause. We're going to have a little downtime publicly, but we're going to hit the bricks to start raising money for an endowment. And we could have done it other ways here. It just hasn't been done. One of the things I try to do with the business building, I was trying to get the last chunk of money so we could go for the state for the match for the business building. We had to get 30 million to get there 30. And we were stuck at about 23. So I went to a big donor and said, we need about $8 million. And he said, I don't buy bricks and mortar. I won't pay for bricks and mortar. The state ought to pay for that. I said, no, I'm not asking you to do that. Give us $8 million in endowment. We have a tax-free bond rate, and we're AAA. So we can sell bonds at about 3.25%. I can borrow against the endowment income. We'll put it in a conservative portfolio. And then we'll pay off the bonds with the income. And then I'll continue to raise money. And when I raise the rest of the money, the endowment's still there. So you leverage the endowment to build buildings, you don't put the money into the bricks and mortar. Because once you get the building paid off, you still have the money. And given the arbitrage between our bond rate and the rate of return, because we are a tax-free, high-rated bond organization, we can actually, an $8 million of endowment, I could borrow $9.7 million. So we got to start thinking about how to play that game. You know, right now, it's very favorable. So I'm going to try to work on that so that that endowment can grow so that we can always have a source of our own controlled income to drive need-based scholarships. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. Nice to come.